Okay, good evening, everyone. It is 6:01 p.m. I will call this meeting of the Georgetown Select Board to order and ask if there is any public comment. Are we still letting people in, Tyler?
We've got everyone in,
Okay,
and we have no one in the room with us tonight.
okay. So, does anybody out there online want to say something? Hearing none, seeing no hands, we will proceed with the agenda. Are there any items to be added to the agenda from the committee, from the board, or from our town administrator?
I had none.
I don't have anything.
I have none.
Okay, super. No scheduled appointments. We have minutes from October 14. Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve the October 14 minutes?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor? It's a
And
roll call vote.
Bronwyn Tudor,
Thank you.
Aria,
Yes.
and Katie.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Super. Assessing items. Tyler, do you want to talk about this, about the commitment date, the target
Yeah.
date being our next meeting?
So as of now, it had been my hope to get commitment done and have it ready for tonight. We're still fine tuning some of the tail end pieces. Yet in talking with Bill Van Tynen, he does believe by our next select board meeting of the 13th, we could make that happen. I wanted to share that the mapping of the splits is almost done. I spoke with O'Donnell's today, and the gentleman, there were some issues in their office on getting things out as promptly as they wanted, but he was staying tonight as late as it took to get. We only had 6 splits, so it won't take as long.
Okay.
So Bill Van Tynen will have that portion tomorrow. And I've mentioned previously, but I just want to mention again, Bill was also working on updating the unstable slope and bluff zones that previously impacted the Sideman abatement. That will come with some valuation reductions that ultimately could see some shifting on taxes, but it is what it is with that. We've got to be consistent with our ordinances. Because if we take some of that valuation off the rolls, it gets put with everyone else. So I just wanted to share that all of the abatements and the work that we did with the abatements are in Trio, ready to rock. We've made one full pass on property cards. We're doing a second pass just to be safe of all the ones that were changed over the summer. Well, we've got this time for Bill anyway.
What's a property card?
So a property card, every property on the island has a card that breaks down how many acres, what the size and dimensions of the building are. A lot of that's housed in Trio digitally now, but we actually have physical manila property cards the assessor puts together and
I think I saw
updates.
those.
Yeah, so we're in a good spot. Again, the 13th, we should be able to hit, and then tax bills would theoretically be hitting the mail the week after. And then
Okay.
they'd be due 60 days out from then. A few more things in, but I really think we're in a good spot. So I just wanted to share that, not tonight, and I've got 2 folks to admit that I did not see. Were there any questions on those?
Yes, Tyler, I have one when you get everybody in.
They are in.
Okay. Do we have any further appeals?
No, as of now, there are no appeals left. Nothing has come in. Abatements were done. There is, I would say, I want to go back and check my little tickler on my desk, but I believe there are a calendar day or 2 left before appeals are completely exhausted just because of the timeline. Because it would have been 60 days out from the mailing of the letters of the determinations. That would have been a day or so after the board voted. So we're right on the cusp of whether anybody can appeal those final abatements. And in talking with Saginaw County, they've received nothing to date. So we might move past that without it, but I'm gonna knock on wood for that front, Bronwyn.
Thank you. I was wondering about that. Okay, so we're up to correspondence. Are there any questions from board members about the items provided? I had a question. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying it was a very light week with correspondence, just the 4 pieces.
Yeah, often there's a ton. My question to Tyler is about the confirmation of working waterfront grants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really clear on that. That is to improve infrastructure, right?
So back when we had the January storms where there were significant damages, this was that working waterfront grant program. We at the town have completed all of our wharf repairs. The co-op, which the way the state set up the program was that any of the affected businesses that qualified, the money would roll through the town as a way for the state to reimburse them. It'll end up being on the warrant. And so I can say the co-op, because of the permitting process they went to, took significantly longer. And we actually today had Sam Crosby and myself touched base with the folks up at the state. And Sam thinks that they should be in a much better spot by June when fishing season, by June, they believe fishing's gonna slow down, a bunch of work's gonna get done. And they have significant money left on their account that they can claim for against expenses, because it was a 50-50 match. Am I way off in the weeds, Bronwyn?
No, no, that's just
Okay,
what I wanted to know. So there's still this grant extant related to the fisherman's co-op.
yes,
Okay.
yes. And we have one reimbursement left to send on to them that'll net us about $550 or so. The remaining work that was seeded, we got billed a little bit later in the process. And so, because Burns had a little bit of seeding the site down at the wharf, and we can recoup
Continue to
up to
start.
50% of that. And I'm gonna
Wait,
move
wait.
Mr.
Somebody needs
Feinberg.
to mute themselves.
We got
Whoever,
Mr. Feinberg. It's okay. He is muted, or Feiger, if I'm pronouncing it right. But
I don't know. We've never seen his name before. Okay, thanks.
But I am excited, and Mr. Crosby's excited from the co-op that this is continuing and that they're seeing some good progress. And once we get 3 signatures on the warrant, they will be getting a sizable check of money that is owed to them from the state of Maine through us.
So this is not about future grants. This is
No,
about grants already in progress.
January storms a couple years ago, yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, moving on to continuing items. Is there anything there that anyone needs to comment about?
They were just renewals of overboard discharges. I would say that one of the just nuance, because we have a little time tonight, with Georgetown having a lot of properties in LLCs and trusts that don't always mirror the owner's name, I failed to include the Tomoko Okada property on Keene Way on our last agenda because I had to take time to locate where that property was. And it's actually a Keenway LLC is part of the name, so just for what that's worth, it should have been on last week, but it's on now to note the approval.
Super. Okay, moving on to board and committee updates. And since I'm listed first, I will give my report. The Solid Waste Committee has been dealing with issues about the compactor. We have a reserve fund to replace it, but we hadn't anticipated needing to do that for a number of years. However, there are repairs. They have made temporary repairs, but there are further repairs or more permanent repairs that need to be made, or as at least one vendor is suggesting, we shouldn't repair it. We should buy a replacement, probably a rehabbed, uh, whatever they call that, replacement. Dave Polito has worked really hard. He is expecting to have 2 estimates and at least one second opinion, because the first firm said, don't repair it, buy a rehabbed machine. He's expecting to have information on a second opinion and another estimate in time for a meeting, a special meeting, Thursday night. So the Thursday of this week, the Solid Waste Committee will be meeting. I would also note that by moving our select board meeting to November 13th to avoid the November 11th holiday, we messed up their normal schedule of meetings. And they're either, I don't know, maybe after the 30th, they won't need a meeting. But if they do, they're pushing it to November 20th. On the TOPMB, the regular meeting, their regular meeting, was attended unexpectedly by quite a group of pickleball adherents who came to ask if and when repairs would be made to the tennis courts, which brought up a big issue in that the 10 years I was on the TOPMB, we had no idea that we were responsible for maintenance of the tennis courts. However, that was determined to go back to the original ordinance, and the reserve fund for capital improvements to that facility were moved over to the TOPMB in 2018 or 2020. There are issues about how much work should be done, what kind of work should be done. I've asked the road commissioner to review the site and give us his recommendation about what needs to be done to maintain it to the standard that it has historically occupied. It may not be a perfect tennis pavilion. It may not be a perfect pickleball court because it's used in many different ways for basketball practice, for dog walking, for tennis or pickleball, and it's in a terrible location in terms of drainage, which is what's impacting the tarmac on top of the surface, because it's at the bottom of the hill, right beside a pond. And whenever we get a whole lot of water or rain, like maybe in a couple of days, if that pond expands and there's no place for water to drain, even if you had a drainage system. However, the money exists to resurface it, and the question is just how much do we want to do? I think the issue of when would be before everybody plays pickleball next spring, because they're about to move into the gym at the school, and we'll have a lot of frost heaves over the winter. I met with Judy Teller, who's chair of the rec committee, about these issues and some others. And one of the big outcomes of that discussion was a recommendation that given that 2026 is the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, the creation of the United States of America, that we might want to have some kind of special celebration. And the idea that we should pull together a committee drawn from the rec committee, the school, the community center, the historical society, and other groups in town that generally do events, looking to create a schedule, a comprehensive concept around the 4th of July that might lead up to the blessing of the fleet, or be part the blessing of the fleet might be part of that celebration. So there'll be more information about that going forward, but as an idea, I'd be interested in board members' thoughts. Let's see. I also met with Mike Farina about the Working Waterfront Group, and I gave him a copy of the comprehensive plan because it refers to to Georgetown as a working waterfront in a number of places. The meeting was about how and when and whether the Working Waterfront Group would bring their thoughts about policies or resolutions or ordinances to Georgetown voters ahead of town meeting. I think all those things were productive, and I'm sorry to take so long, but that's my report. And if you want to ask questions or have comments, that's fine. Or we can just move on to Aria and Katie.
I don't have any questions.
No, I love the enthusiasm for pickleball. I encourage that. And it's always fun to celebrate big moments like the 250th, so I think.
And it might be nice to get the blessing of the fleet discussion and at least engaged with the town again versus being out to sea.
Yep.
Pun intended.
Yes,
We would, I assume that the TOPMB would be part of that discussion because obviously.
Sure.
given The history but I didn't even, I know it will be, so that's why I'm not even really gonna ask that question. Okay, great. So speaking of the rec committee, their next meeting is November 3rd. They've been working at a workshop to map out the Halloween celebration that's coming up in conjunction with GIFE and the school, Spook the School. And then from there, after folks eat pizza and enjoy what the GIFE School and Rec Committee has to offer, they can go spook the square. Here's a question for y'all, and I need to follow up with Angie, just because I have parents who've asked me today, for instance, because ordinarily we all go trick or treating together. Katie, I can ask you, because you've been here trick or treating longer than me, I think, yes.
2012.
Oh, well, maybe not. Okay, well, anyway, let me ask you. What if it's raining like cats and dogs on Halloween? Will the GCC consider changing that? Have you heard anything, Tyler? He looks like he's gonna speak.
what I heard
Because the school
today,
doesn't need to, because it's gonna be inside.
my understanding is the community center's plans on decorations are now being revamped a little bit because of weather,
Right,
but that their plan is to do a Halloween. Not
okay.
around the circle still. They've got some inflatables and
Right,
things that
I
they're
knew.
planning on doing.
Even in the rain?
My understanding, but you might want to confirm it with Angie, is that is the intention to Halloween rain or shine.
Okay, that's what I needed to know.
But let's confirm that, because anecdotally, I want to make sure I'm giving you good info.
Yes, and if
Let's
not,
also-
I'm gonna direct all the parents to you, Tyler, with their anger.
Yeah, well, let's also continue to monitor that, because the weather, I mean, it just depends on the extent of what hits us, right? I mean,
Sure.
it's all about Melissa and her impact as
Yeah.
Hurricane 5. Hurricanes and rainstorms,
I know.
we should
And-
pay attention up to the last minute. That's my thought.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, always. The weather's always changing.
yeah, remember the year it snowed? We snowed, we lost power one year. Halloween has been a bullseye holiday for us.
We've done rainy walks around.
Yeah,
though.
I don't
mean,
like the rain, but that's just me.
Yeah, the kids get all wet.
We need it,
cold.
we need it.
Yeah.
And then there was somebody else, speaking of rain, and we'll see what Chief Whalen says about this. Somebody made reference to a fire that they saw, a bonfire recently, so anyway.
Good.
Yeah, go ahead.
Question for you, Ari. I know the school put out notice today with a flyer, but said some of the stuff is a surprise.
Correct.
So I didn't put that flyer on our Facebook page. Do you think that's safe, or is it better to wait?
The Spook the School flyer that has 3 little skeletons,
Yes.
that should go on your
Perfect.
Facebook, please do that. That one, it begins right, right after school,
That'll be on there.
yeah.
Thank
okay.
you. I wanted to confirm, because when it said surprise, I didn't want to be the one ruining surprises.
Tyler, let me just look
Look
at,
at the black cat.
cause I've not seen the school's letter yet today, I just know the flyer that Guy
Okay.
did in conjunction with rec, okay. So anyway, that's Halloween, pickleball is moving into the gym, and, the folks at the school always do a great job, including Ralph and Terry, helping with the lines in the gym so that the community can use it, and pickleball numbers just continue to climb. Shellfish is meeting on November 6th, and, I ran into Marissa, at the transfer station, and so Tyler, we might want, I know they meet in person, but we might want to add a hybrid option, and Marissa and I can work with you because we
Yeah.
both know how to use
Absolutely.
OWL here, and I know that we would be here to start it, and then we could close it down
Yeah.
since you'd be out. Let's see, Board of Appeals, there's gonna be some change, at least one change that we're aware of. The Working Waterfront, will be meeting soon. I've seen some email traffic about that. I did mention to them the informational sessions, much like what Gahi did and what the fire department did to engage the community. So there's going to be some discussions around that. Harbor Committee, we know that that's going to have an update later on. And the conservation meeting, Jess Weller's on our meeting now, and I don't know if she wants to speak to anything in specifically related to the water wise or anything else that we learned, but I can tell you that their next meeting is November 10 for folks who want to potentially join that public meeting, and there's Jess. So Jess, is there anything that can you please?
We're doing a program on winter moths at Georgetown
you.
Historical Society on November 12th at 6. It's hybrid.
Yes, thank you. I knew I was forgetting something, and thank you. All right, and that's it for my update.
And I'll have a Harbor Committee set a meeting date that is
Yes.
escaping me. I'll get that to you.
Okay, because I did not see it on our
Perfect.
agenda. Okay,
It came in as we were confirming appointments.
okay, great. So the Harbor Committee does have a date. Thank you.
And with the
Gee.
winter moth, if you register for the winter moth Zoom,
Right,
it will be recorded, so you
That's
can
right.
watch it whenever
Right.
you want.
I will
which
be
is kinda
registering
cool.
for that on the 12th.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
It's like 6.
Yeah.
At 6.
Thank you for
Um,
backing me up on that.
Yeah. I had a planning board meeting. They tabled the short-term rental conversation till the next, I think. And I had a resident, Gert Walters, he's down on Bay Point, reach out to me about the volunteer fire department billing insurance for ambulance rides.
For those who
Um,
have it.
For those who have it.
Okay.
For sure. And just insurance, not the
Right.
person.
Right, thank you for that clarification.
And maybe getting that conversation started between Brian and Gert could come in next meeting and tell us his insights on that. I know it's been at the table before.
Next meeting, with it being commitment night, may not be the right
Okay,
meeting for that, just knowing what could be coming, not to interrupt. but-
yeah,
And when Chief Whalen was in yesterday, I think I shared that the 13th might be a tough night.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
And are you
That's
in, out of town that day?
I'm not anymore,
Okay.
not given the shutdown.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I'm not happy about it, but in any event, yeah. So and that came up at the fire department informational session that
Mhm.
I attended,
Okay,
this billing issue, and
Yeah.
so. And other people have raised it with me, so I'm glad
Yeah.
because you're their liaison, I'm glad that they're raising it with you.
yeah, no one from the fire department has per
Okay.
se, but
Yeah,
but in general, I think that it's been a
Citizens have raised it
conversation,
to me,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, been a
Okay.
conversation that.
It
people
has,
have
as I told Katie on the phone this afternoon, it has been a topic of discussion in the town office and with the fire chief over a period of months. First of all, I think it's important to note that this resident who spoke with Katie is a retired ER doc who has some perspective on how to implement the program, costs, and outsourcing of administrative costs. all of which I hope you will share with me or with Tyler before we talk with him in a public session. The objections, I guess, to doing this have historically come from two sources. One, the volunteer fire department and members of it, which are very concerned that their mission is to provide support to Georgetown residents at no cost to the individual. And second front would be the administration, the office, about the level of paperwork involved. You have to have insurance information, there are procedures to bill, et cetera, and so forth. So I think this is a timely issue and one which we will address in the future. And I'm very glad that Katie has brought it to our attention.
Me too.
Those are my thoughts about it.
Sure, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, yeah, maybe we can get it on the agenda, what is it, November 23rd? No,
Thanksgiving week, we have a meeting scheduled. Historically, that's one that if it's not much, but with a presentation, that might be a good
Mhm,
night for that. So
mhm.
we will get them on one way or the other,
okay,
because it's good data.
yeah, and it would just be good to do a little bit of research
Yeah.
in the next,
That would give time to.
and it would give time, yeah.
This might also be a good time to talk about liaison assignments and how it's working out. I mean, these assignments are not cast in stone. They can always be adjusted at multiple times during the year. And generally, the function of the liaison is to listen. Occasionally, we have to provide advice, whether it's appreciated by the committee or not, as to how they should proceed or what they're allowed to do or not allowed to do under the way the system is set up of town government. But I wanted to raise the issue of who's covering, how Katie's assignments are working out, because I know that there's overlap and conflict around the school board meeting and the planning board meetings. And I don't know I mean, ARIA has a whole lot of committees, maybe too many. I don't know if there are issues in that regard. For myself,
Nope.
I'm planning to take up the Financial Advisory Committee when that starts meeting, along with TOPMB and solid waste. But I understand that, Katie, you have a conflict with the next school committee meeting tomorrow night.
Right. So, my
That's
current job is seasonal, and tomorrow night would be the last night that I would have a conflict. It's also a special meeting. They're talking about lighting. I don't know that it would impact my liaison too much to not be there. But I think Arya can cover me tomorrow night for that.
I'm interested in this project as a citizen anyway, because it's going to also affect town office. It's Affinity Lighting's project.
Right.
So it implicates this office in our structure, so, I think that's important, but my understanding is from what I've seen, and Katie, you've seen the same thing, is that it's just a special meeting about the lighting.
Yeah.
So I know, I mean, I don't need to have school committee, and, so you can keep that, and my committees are working out fine. It's helpful to me to know, for instance, Harbor, so
Right.
Tyler's going to continue to notify me if something comes in after the fact that's not on our agenda.
And there is a way that I'm not the tech guy, but with the Google Calendar we've set up through
Yeah.
the website, folks can
Okay.
actually have that go right to their iPhone. I know there are a couple folks on the island that know meetings better than I do because of that.
Okay,
I need them to teach me their trick.
okay, great, all right, well, once you learn it, let me know.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
Thank you.
it would be nice to have all of the committees on that
Yeah.
calendar somehow.
Yes, and that's something we're working on.
Yeah.
I know that some of the committees, and I don't wanna throw anyone under the bus, that we don't have as much direct control over, sometimes send us things later on than we normally would to get them.
Sure.
So, but it's something we can improve.
Volunteer fire department,
Right.
it's pretty steady, I think.
I'm thinking specifically more the school. I know that I
Okay.
get their stuff very late, and that could be just I'm on a separate list.
Hmm,
I don't know, but usually it's pretty close to the meeting.
You should get it, cause last year when I was getting it directly from Evelyn, it was weeks in advance. So,
Okay.
we
I'll
can,
give her a
Katie,
jingle.
yeah, Evelyn Andrews, Katie and I can,
Yeah.
Katie has her
I
contact
can forward
information
it to you.
from AOS and, I think you just need to get on the list. It took a little, yeah,
Yeah,
she's the one that
And-
sends it out, not the school. The district
Okay.
does.
But back to liaisons and assignments, I would like to keep the school committee, if that's all right with you, Bronwyn.
Mm.
I think that it's interesting to me, it's what we decided initially. I would be okay to move around if you really thought that's what I should do, but I would like to keep the school committee.
Okay. I think
Yeah.
that's fine. There we
Okay.
are.
Okay, great.
Okay. Moving on, town administrator updates.
so the first thing that I have tonight from the town clerk, Angie, absentee voting, other than special circumstances as prescribed by statute, ends this Thursday at the close of business. If you have an absentee ballot outstanding, you still have till the close of polls to return it. Polls will be open next Tuesday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Angie is doing some election training here at the office on Thursday. We have an item a little bit later, securing moderator Nancy or warden Nancy Kinner, and that'll be a very exciting thing as well. Typically, we have the town office closed to foot traffic on election day. That's how we advertised it in last year's tax insert. I'm intending to be here for most, if not all of the day. I am a backup election worker if they need somebody, so that could pull me out, but in terms of folks coming in to register their cars, I don't think that's gonna be the plan. I think there's a desire to have Kathy learn some of that side of things too, but I can confirm with Angie. Last Thursday, after meeting with Bronwyn and Judy and Bronwyn and Mike, I went to a meeting at the city of Bath that Saginaw County convened through MCOG. I think I sent along a little bulletin about that.
Yeah.
Saginaw County's in the process of developing a comprehensive plan that's engaging a lot of these community discussions, both internally and then with stakeholders like the different towns. It was about 2 hour discussion that covered things from strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and challenges. It was really neat to hear the different perspectives of what Bodenham's facing, that some of the things like assessing, we're right in the same boat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But on other ends, it's night and day, but it was a really productive discussion. Mid-Coast Council of Governments is gonna continue to work with Saginaw County, and if there are other opportunities, I'll definitely share them with the board to be able to participate as well. Legislatively on the horizon, Representative Hepler has put in a bill that Ledge Council currently is rejected. It's gonna be up for an appeal, but it's one I think Georgetown should just monitor. And effectively, the bill is going to create a fix and a state fund potentially for derelict boats. And
Ah.
with it being in the second session, there's no text of the bill yet. It's just the title, and then afterwards they're allowed to draft. And I think, having lived through the saga of the hook,
Right.
line, and sinker, as we all did, there's a story to tell there. It deserves
Yeah.
a public hearing. So I will keep us posted as that progresses, because I think lived experiences from municipalities go a long way with folks understanding, and we'll continue on that. Town office is also continuing to monitor some of the shutdown impacts. MMA has not been sending out regular bulletins the way I thought they might. I am signed up for those. In the same breath, we're all aware of different impacts that are coming, whether it be with SNAP funding, et cetera. I
Yeah.
will say that we've had some internal discussions at the office about we should be prepared that there's a chance we get more GA requests. We've also been in touch with the community center about some of the services they've engaged in on the past, so we are thinking about it. It is at our door, and We don't really know what the net impact will be here on this island, but if you hear someone that's struggling, we have resources, and if we don't, there's that community navigator that could potentially help plug folks in, so just keep that on the horizon. And while we talk about impacts to food, I do want to share some good news. The Bath Area Food Bank is still going to be doing their Thanksgiving baskets. Our town, they assign different organizations or towns one item that they gather to be included in the food baskets. Georgetown is on the gravy train, so if anybody has canned gravy,
We
please
certainly
bring
are in the gravy train, yeah.
to the
Okay.
town office by the 17th or sooner. We've got a box here.
Okay,
And lastly, something that I know Bromwin and I've talked about a bit, and I know we have here. If the town office loses power, it takes significant time to get the internet back up. We had the IT folks down last Thursday, and we believe that that is no longer going to be the case. We have a couple new battery backups and something on the back end that they fixed as well. The IT tech, I was at Saginaw County, so I wasn't here for it, but did simulate an outage and it was able to come back. So I think that problem is fixed,
good.
for what that's worth.
Mhm.
And beyond that, I had nothing else to add unless there were any questions.
No, I was gonna ask you about the food bank, cause I wondered how much they were doing, and I remember last year at, for donation time, I think we increased purposefully those donations last year, and so
Yes.
that's something that, obviously may come back on our radar when we're looking at the budget, and the donations.
And one thing about those donations, just as a practice Georgetown has always operated on, we do not send out donations until tax dollars have come in because
Right.
we don't want to borrow
course.
against the TAN.
Of course,
I will say if we end up in a spot that things are looking dire with SNAP, that might be something we expedite to Bath Area Food Bank. It's a modest one, but
yeah,
it's not a tonight need, but it's something to watch.
right, for sure.
Mhm.
Thank you, Tyler. If there are no questions for Tyler, we can move on to the fire chief update. And I see his shield out there, so Brian is with us. Hi, Brian.
Hi guys, thanks for having me tonight. Just a couple things for you. I don't have a lot going on right now, which is not a bad thing for us. Um, we were up to, let's see, 122 calls for the year as of this week, which is I think a little bit below last couple of years for this time of year so far, but pretty average. Done 15 in the last month since I talked to you guys last, which is about average. So we're kind of spot on for calls and whatnot as far as the facilities in the building, the vehicles, things like that. Everything's pretty status quo. Nothing major in that respect. Um, we have talked at our board of directors meeting last month with the fire department about purchasing new ambulance coming up in the next year or so. And so we're looking to finalize the details of what we'll be looking for that, create an RFP that we'd send out to manufacturers and sellers, things like that. So see what we get back, see what the cost might be, and kind of go from there with the plan and whatnot. So we're working on that in the background a little bit. But just want to keep you in loop that is the wheels are turning in that respect a little bit. We're continuing with our rollout of our ESO program to get things, uploaded online, equipment, vehicles, truck checks, what like that. We've been working through some of the little kinks when we run into a little bit of a hiccup with things like that. We're fine tuning some things, but it's going pretty well. About where I thought we'd be in terms of the timeline for that. So that's been going all right. We got our hose and ladder testing completed in the last week or so here. You may have seen the trucks out on the ramps with the hose everywhere and things like that. So we got that checked off the list of the yearly things, and we also were able to get the pumpkins over to the kids this week with the help of the auxiliary. So that went really, really well, and we always enjoy doing that. So it's always fun to be able to take part of that nice community event. So we enjoy doing that. And you guys mentioned earlier about ambulance billing, and I have talked to Gert Walter a couple times myself. Had a couple good conversations. So kind of aware of what he's bringing to you guys in terms of, his perspective and point of view and whatnot. So, I'm looking forward to seeing where that conversation goes and, whatever form it ends up taking. So, um, we can, address that at a later time when we have more details on it, both sides and things like that. Um, so yeah, we got that. And, you guys had mentioned outdoor burning earlier. So, um,
Now,
as
what's
you
the
know,
status of that,
sorry.
Brian? What is the status of outdoor burning? Is it permitted by?
It depends on the weather
homeowners?
right now. So,
Yeah,
right now we generally follow the state recommendations for
right.
the fire weather danger, and that allows burning for low and moderate rated days. So, what I've been doing pretty much since, well, yeah, early October, um, is we discussed it amongst ourselves at the fire department here, and based on the conditions and the, things like that, we would allow burning on low days, but not on moderate days, which is a bit of a departure from the state recommendations. Just factoring in the fact that, we have very little, our response can be limited at times depending on who's available at any given moment. Plus the how dry things are. The top cover has
Right.
been very, very dry. And it gets down in Georgetown, it gets down into the ground. It's extremely hard to dig it out. So,
Yeah.
um, so we've been limiting burning a bit more than we typically are. But that being said, we have allowed it more recently. The fire danger's been rated low the last couple days. And as long as it stays there, then burning will be allowed with permits. So um, all the permits are going through the state of Maine, Maine Forest Service website now. The Warden's Report website is being phased out. So I've turned permits off over there, so everyone's going to have to go through the main state site now because we get better notifications from them, and it's all free and
Okay.
works exactly the same way. Um, so yes, well, that'll be outdoor burning, so it'll be allowed for, for low weather days and things like that. So, but as per usual and per the rules, we just ask that everyone, be really mindful, make sure it's completely out, and they're just really careful with it. So because it's not that it can't get away on low days, it's just less likely. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Any other questions for Brian?
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks.
Thanks
Have a
for
good night.
being here. Great. Mike, you're up as code enforcement officer update.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I thought I'd just take a minute to update you all on the Ipcar Preserve tree cutting situation. As you probably recall, they asked to contact Shane Dugan and the Maine Forest Service for if someone would come down, take a look at it, offer some advice or what have you. Contacted him via email. I've had a couple phone calls. Was indicated they're pretty short staffed, but he would try to get someone to come. But we're looking at quite some time now that is passed, and with winter approaching here and soon and so forth, I didn't know if we might want to go a different direction on how to come to a conclusion for that.
Have you got suggestions?
Yeah, a couple thoughts. Maybe see if a local arborist or a local landscaping company would take a look at it and see what kind of depth the services would take to clean that up or do whatever we need to do there to get it back to where it was before. I thought that might be a suggestion that we could go forth with. If the board agrees, I'm happy to dig into that a little bit.
I certainly think that it's worth pursuing other options. What we're looking for is an objective view of remediation, appropriate remediation. I understand, I believe that the city of Bath has an arborist on their on staff. Is
They do.
is that a person that we might try to consult or,
Yeah, I'm happy to check. I'm happy to contact them. I'm not sure who it is now, but I know they have one, so I'm happy to look into that.
that
We
might be
do
one
have-
suggestion. Other ideas?
We do have an arborist, at least one arborist here in Georgetown that
Yeah.
would probably
Yeah.
know exactly where it is and could go down easily. Brian
And I thought,
Ian.
right, and I know Brian really well. I chat or text with him pretty often.
Yeah.
Obviously, he does a lot of work, as you just said. Okay, but and I just say this, maybe I'm way off, but I'm sure he would help us. But we're not worried about I don't know, conflict of interest is the word I'm looking for, but a fellow town resident. That's the only thing I'm thinking of. But
Yeah.
No,
but
I think the issue is more if the person who looks at the situation is also the person who would bid on remediating the situation, then you have a potential conflict of interest. That's why it might be smart to consult the Bath arborist first if that person was available, because they're not engaged in landscaping or tree cutting or planting themselves directly, right? They're not going to get any financial advantage from whatever they tell us about the situation. I don't know that Brian, I mean, he cuts trees. I don't know that he plants trees. And but he does chip up debris
yeah,
and remove it.
that he
Um,
does.
and you're not looking for estimates because what you want to know is what we need to do. Can we leave this slash and let it decompose naturally? Or do we need to remove it in order to let the forest rejuvenate itself? But certainly, I think we need to pursue other options because who knows when the state will get back to us and everybody's, it's not at the top of their priority list. It's not the kind of vandalism that might motivate them to come tearing down to Georgetown. And it's not a big city issue either. So I definitely, I would be happy to see you pursue other avenues. Are there other thoughts from board members?
I mean, I assume that, there's a few arborists that could be contacted just to see who could address, the recovery effort the most efficiently and effectively. So
Have you been down to the site?
I've not.
No, me either. I'd like to see it. Bronwyn, have you been down?
No,
No.
no. I don't even know if I could get there. But no, I haven't tried to go.
Yeah.
Certainly, I'm sure Mike would be happy to take you, or you could talk to someone on the Conservation Commission. I think,
Kathy Gravino,
yeah,
apologize. She's the one that took me in, showed me where it was. For what
I'm
it's
sure
worth.
she'd be glad to share
But
that
I'm
information.
happy to bring you in too. Just let me know.
And I think Kathy might have other ideas about from whom we could get an objective opinion. I think there's no problem if you ask a number of people to look at it, right? And make a recommendation.
Mhm.
Is the goal to remove the tree, the slash? There's probably big logs that
The
were
goal
left.
is, we don't know the
Or
goal. We don't know the goal.
don't-
That's the problem.
That's what the
Because,
Maine Forest Service was planning
yeah,
on doing.
right. That's what the
Yeah.
Conservation Commission, we asked the Conservation Commission about the goal. They punted it over to the Forest Service. The Forest Service is punting it out into the wilderness of, we can't get there. And we still need an answer. But we can't
Well,
we can't get a cost estimate until we know what the plan is.
I can ask, and obviously if, I can ask conservation to, if they now with more time, if they, as a consensus, have a goal in mind. And then we can share that with Mike. Jess or Kathy can share that with Mike. Because their next meeting is, what did I say, the 10th? Yeah, the 10th. So that's
Right.
right around the corner.
Yeah, right. That would be good.
I think that would be good. I think they could come up with a plan, a remediation plan.
Yeah, they probably, I mean, I don't wanna speak for them, so I'll shut up.
Yeah. Me too.
It depends on which member of the committee you are. I think certain members of the committee are better equipped to make recommendations in this regard than others. And anyway, thank you, Mike. I think that we do need to try other avenues to get this resolved.
Will do. That's all I had, and I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Okay, next up, we need to approve the appointment of Nancy Kinner as the election warden.
I move to approve the appointment of Nancy Kenner as our as our new election warden.
I'll second.
It has been
Super.
moved and seconded, and we need a roll call vote, Bronwyn.
Okay.
Was there any discussion before I move to that roll call? If not, Bronwyn Tudor.
I
Aye.
do have a discussion. I do have a discussion. Does this in any way prevent Nancy from serving as the moderator? I assume it doesn't.
Not,
Okay.
not for this election, and in the event that it did down the road, she stepped up this time to learn this role, and it might even help down the road, understand some of the other roles too.
Yeah, I can't imagine it did, but she's a great moderator, so,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
all right.
So Bronwyn was an aye,
I was an
Aria?
aye.
Ari is an aye.
and Katie Goodwin?
Yes.
All right, that is unanimous.
Okay, under new business, Tyler circulated an insert for tax bills. And although there's some spacing issues with it, and I felt there were some redundancy issues as well, in terms of closures of the transfer station or closures of the town office, I thought that we could at least approve the content so that he could mess around with the format and have it ready for when the moment the tax bills are ready to go out. However, I pointed out to him today that the minutes of October, whatever it was, 13, 14, contain issues about the 4th of July, closing and opening that are not reflected in the insert.
And we will get those incorporated.
I saw it on
They were in the minutes, and then the additional day that we chose to keep the
additional
Sunday
date, right, yeah.
needs to be in there.
Okay, yeah.
But in talking with Bronwyn about some of the redundancies, I fully agree that first paragraph, last paragraph, and the dates can
Yeah.
be arranged better. This was a
Yeah,
town office committee project last year, and I'm all for making it better this year,
Yeah.
so.
I move to approve the general content as mapped out, understanding that there will be some editing for ease of reference.
Thank you.
I would second that motion.
Great
And
motion. I
and before-
concur.
And
Yes.
before we go any further and vote, I just wanted to share that the last 2 years on our inserts, on the other side, we've included a letter about assessing.
Right.
In talking with Bronwyn, we didn't feel that was necessary this year because the statistical revaluation was done. But before speak now, forever hold your peace, if there were things we wanted in a letter to go out to townspeople, I know I'm springing it on folks now, be in touch because it's cheaper to go the one side,
Right,
and I'm all for saving some money on this one.
right. Yep.
Okay, so we need to vote, right?
Bronwyn Tudor,
Yes.
Aria E,
Yes.
Katie Goodwin,
Yes.
that is unanimous. Thank you.
So Tyler, under new business, committee appointments. Did Rufus Brown actually make it to the office today?
He did, and he is on Zoom with us right now.
Oh,
He was
super.
eager to see this through.
So he is a regular resident, official member, eligible to be appointed to the planning board.
Yes.
So you have these committee appointments before you, my friends. Do you have any discussion about them or questions?
I will say that all of the nominees have been discussed with the chairs of those committees and are in favor of their appointment. And I'd note that David Teller had previously been the alternate on the Harbor Committee and has stepped up to fill that vacancy. And Kelly James, I have for a 3-year term expiring 2028. Instead of having her fill Mike Farina's partial term of 2.5 years, there were 2 other vacancies already there. Just made it cleaner.
Sure.
Okay. And I will say that I have spoken with Lee Johnson, an attorney, a resident of Georgetown, a former member of the Conservation Commission, about the appeals board. And she is willing to put in an application. She intends to put in an application for that committee to replace Rufus and keep that committee up to par. She was on the appeals board in Rouse when she lived there formerly. She did say that she wasn't sure she wanted to chair the committee. I told her she could talk to Aria about that.
Yep.
And so there's no motion about Lee on this agenda, but I ran into her at the Laura Richards Library the other day and regarded it as an opportune moment to find an attorney to replace Rufus on the appeals board. So I hope that's, hope that's good. Can we vote on these appointments as a group, or do we need to separate them one
I
by
think
one?
we could do either or. It's up to you, Bronwyn, or up to the board.
I'll move the slate of
Okay.
proposed appointees as related on the agenda.
Be careful though.
Rufus has a comment. Mr. Brown.
I believe he was whispering off camera and it got unmuted, and we've remuted.
Okay, I thought
If
he was
that's
raising
correct,
his,
Rufus, was that a thumbs up, or were you trying to speak?
No.
he's still muted.
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Good, thank you.
So
Okay,
the slate was moved by Aria. Was there a second?
I will second the motion.
All right.
is there further discussion? I would note that Kelly James expressed interest in the planning board also, but in that she's already a member of the appeals board, we were not inclined to honor that idea. The Harbor Committee will be happy to receive her, and hopefully she'll be content to stay where she is as far as appeals are concerned.
Yes, and my understanding is that we've not been able to serve on planning and appeals because the
Right.
appeals board is reviewing can be reviewing a planning board decision.
That's pretty
Just-
much their job.
Right.
Because,
So
yeah.
just for people who are wondering what that's about, that's
Right.
that's what the
Right.
reasoning behind one or the other is.
And just for clarity's sake for everyone else as well, Rufus today, when he came in and registered
you.
to vote, also turned in a letter of resignation from the Board of Appeals, which is a part of the other reason we didn't have any BOA on here,
Right.
because we didn't have a vacancy until today.
Right. That's why I said I know there's gonna be
Yeah.
updates. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. If there's no further discussion, I'll be
Bronwyn
happy
Turner,
to vote yes, please.
Aria E,
Yes.
Katie Goodwin,
Yes.
and that is unanimous. Thank you all. Before you turn this back to public comment, Bronwyn, I would just note to the board, we have 2 separate warrants here tonight to be signed. One is the regular paying of bills and payroll. The other is the county tax bill, and that check will be hand delivered on Friday afternoon.
Or has there been any resolution of how many payments towns have
Right.
to make to the county?
No, that is an ongoing discussion, and I can tell you that at my meeting last week, that was seen as both an opportunity and a weakness, depending on who was there, about multiple payments. So it's an ongoing discussion. Commissioner McPhee, who is our commissioner for most of rural Saginaw County and the coastal side, is gonna be leading up that discussion, and it, again, is ongoing. I don't have anything new to add,
Okay, thank you.
though he has a really good handshake. I have to say that. It was
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's-
I guess, is there anything we can do to facilitate their action on that?
I will keep you
Proposal.
posted.
Can
will
we
keep you
perhaps
posted.
just withhold some of our payment and let them deal with it?
I would not do that because that accrues interest and we do not want to end up with that later.
That's true. But anyway, it was a thought. It was a threat. It was an option.
Hey, we like options.
Okay. I think that we have moving onward for public comment. Is there now any public comment now that you've listened to an hour of us blathering about? I'm not seeing any. Am I missing something, Tyler?
There are none in the room either.
Okay. And we have no reason for an executive session. Is there any other business that the board wants to bring forward?
No. I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Okay, all in favor? Let's go.
Look at
Good
that.
night,
One
all.
love. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank